Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Road Ahead Talks, powered by Jio Events and knowledge partnered by Sciative V Price Right. I'm Vijayta Soni, co-founder and CEO of Sciative. Today's episode is a little different than the usual episodes we have with other entrepreneurs, founders, and thought leaders. Today, this episode is for a cause that has inspired our speaker, our narrator today. She's going to be talking about her experiences and her flourishing career, and how she got into that, even after facing a lot of challenges. So, this podcast is for the cause of dyslexia. This podcast is also for the next generation who is already going through a lot of difficult times with social media, the pros and cons around it. Somebody who's entering from campus to corporate, how to adapt. So, this episode is more for fighters by a fighter herself. And this fighter is none other than Shilpa Rao. Let me give you a very quick understanding about who Shilpa is. Shilpa, when she was a child, she was dyslexic. She could not tell her B's and D's. She could not differentiate between left and right. Language classes were difficult for her because she dreaded them, as the teacher would ask her to read it out loud, read the chapters out loud to her, loud for everyone. That dreaded her a lot, but that did not keep her away from performing and being a fighter. She found her own experiments, she found her own ways of identifying mechanisms that work for her. And she did that along with a lot of support, care, nurturing from her parents, her teachers, and her surroundings. So let's listen to Shilpa. Today, while Shilpa still has problems with her left and right, and therefore she has the nail paint on her left hand so that she can differentiate between the directions. But that doesn't keep her away from being an inventor. She is a professional in the field of artificial intelligence, working with a very reputed company. She is the product head of Stevie American Business Awards. She has also co-authored many patents for AI powered platform, and many of these patents are co-invented with her and her company together. So let's not wait anymore. Let's go directly to Shilpa and see what background and what inspiring story she brings to us today. Hi, Shilpa. What a pleasure to have you here. And with an amazing background that you have and such great experiences, and you know that I follow you so well. You're such an inspiring person, and a very beautiful human being inside. Um, so, like me, I'm pretty sure there are many people who are reading what you are writing about on LinkedIn, but there are so many people who still do not know your story. And I would love for you to speak about it today, right? And bring that inspiration to thousands of more people around, not just in India, but outside as well. So, Shilpa Rao, I would love for you to give you a very quick background of yourself, and then from there we will go to your childhood days.
Okay, sure. It's a complete pleasure to be here, having a conversation with you, and to tell a little bit about myself. I'm an entrepreneur working with a large IT company, and currently I'm focused on how we can help our customers achieve their purpose through technology.
Mhm.
And before my current role, I was heading an AI-powered strategic intelligence platform, which drove multi-billion-dollar uplift in sales and profitability for many Fortune 500 companies, and driving it from a concept literally at the back of like a napkin to a business line to 35 plus patents and several awards. It has been a very, very enriching journey for me.
Mhm.
Apart from them, apart from work, I'm I'm a dyslexic, so I share my story. I'm an artist. I write, and I'm a mother to 7 furry kids. And
Wow.
and in 2019, I participated in Mrs. India Worldwide, and I had a sponsors title there. So it's been a fun
Wow.
journey.
Yes, so much, so many accolades on your shoulder to carry, and each one of them has been earned beautifully well by you. But life has not been so easy at the start, right? And because I have been reading you, we just spoke a little before this. Help us understand where you started as your childhood. What was going through you? As you said that you were dyslexic, which and so if for our viewers, if you can help them understand what exactly this problem is, what the child goes through, and then the journey forward from there.
Sure. See, dyslexia can mean different for different people, and every child is different. And it is today categorized into, specific learning disabilities, which means that right from like many categories that people can't read or write,
Mm.
but it's not about that. And maybe I could share my story to kind of help better understand what I look at dyslexia. But there are many, every individual is different, and everyone has their own story and how they find their strengths. So I would just share mine rather than defining what this means to everyone. So when I was growing up, I was not diagnosed as dyslexic. Many schools and students are today. Uh, uh, because when I was growing up, it was not something which was known, right? And
Mm.
this
Yes.
was, yeah, this was way before Tare Zameen Ke, and a lot of others, like other awareness was around. And even after Tare Zameen Ke, it did not really depict the exact thing which everybody is going through. You feel that typically people are labeled that, oh, you are lazy, or you don't understand this, and oh, why it's so difficult for you and others. But it is something which is not something that you can control. It's just that how you are and how your brain is wired. So the journey started in school, where small things, right? Like small things like reading out loud. So you have in the class where the teacher says, okay, you start reading, and then the next kid stands up, and then they read up, and then the third kid start up, they read up. And then when it was my turn, it was like, oh my god, I can't read.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my legs used to tremble, and like, I don't know what to do. And slowly then I started figuring out that if my mom read it to me, and she read it to me like enough, then I could actually memorize it. So I had like the entire chapter memorized. So whenever the teacher would call, I could like start out from the memory without actually reading it. Similarly, like B's and D's were super difficult, and
Mm.
left and right is still very difficult. And I have like my nails colored so that I know this is right. So
Got it.
you identify strategies as you kind of grow up in identifying to kind of navigate through some of the things through life. Similar,
Doesn't this bring in more smartness as well? Because
you,
I have seen dyslexic kids having amazing memories. Memory is beautiful. I mean, they can remember things, they can remember events, they can in fact r- r- read the whole chapter just by like memorizing it. Isn't that a beautiful and what an amazing capability, right? So,
absolutely.
you have seen this as
Yeah,
well?
absolutely. It's a strength, and I won't say that every dyslexic kid. Like, I mean, there are different strengths which everybody has. So there could be some which had the you know because but once you don't do as well in one area, you try to compensate in another area, and
Mm.
sometimes you compensate it with your memory. So
Yeah.
my math was complete memory, I would say, which is like which is completely, it's completely strange because maths is something that you solve, but
Mm,
maths for me was memory. So I discovered that I could color and remember. So drawing was like my
mm,
safe place. I like loved colors, and then
mm.
soon I discovered that if you could color the math and the formulas, it just like you could just
Wow,
remember it by so
so interesting.
so you could remember the page number, you could remember like what exactly the number was, and you could remember everything. So uh, that's how I got through math, which was just by brute force.
Wow, amazing.
And it is very
Remembering math through
interesting.
colors.
Yeah, and it is very interesting because now like a lot of things which I do has to deal with math. So
Right. That's right. That's right. And I also have read that you never had to. I mean, your tables were all, like usually kids don't know how to memorize tables, but you were like pro in that when you were growing up.
yeah, yeah. So one of the ritual, I mean, like my parents, they also did not know that I was dyslexic, and I think my father is also dyslexic. So he in while he was growing up, he had found some hacks that which worked for
Mm,
him, and he also struggled through his life, but he had found out certain hacks, and some of these hacks included like every day saying tables after you go to play and then come back home, and you have, it was a ritual, like you have to say all the tables. So so that became very I would say very innate, like just memorizing a lot of things. So a lot of it was as I mean, like uh, a lot of teaching methods today are more on the application and how do you apply things,
mm,
but for me that time it went through brute force, but that kind of also helped me open up a new set of things. So
mm,
because it's not that everything that you can solve with memory, and you can't remember everything obviously, so you need to find hacks through
mm,
which you can remember.
mm,
So then you start experimenting with different things like math. I was saying that colors help me to do that. Then this
mm,
nail polish, which is like B&Ds, could help me
mm,
to do that. And that felt like an experiment because you don't land up on it just like that. You
mm,
have tried so many things, and then you land
mm,
up, oh, this works for me, or this is a
mm,
strategy which could work. So
mm,
it feels like an experiment. And everyday life, because a lot of things today which are not designed for you in the sense that you get it at the first go, so you have to kind of experiment things around and
mm.
figure out what works for you.
So it's
And
important even for the parents around the child to be helping these experimentations with the child is trying to do. And in fact, even guide and mentor sometimes, because as you said, your father actually mentored you pretty well, which made you into this mode that yes, I should be experimenting my things, which technically can work for me. Right. So you were finding out your own ways of doing things and experimenting and what works for you, and it might happen that something else might work for somebody else, but it's very important to keep doing these experimentations. And at home the environment should be such that parents and the people around should be supporting these experimentations, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And I would say I had very supportive parents because they wanted me to explore a lot of things. So I mean, like my father would encourage me to, just enroll in everything, right from, competitive exams to like art to music to everything. So just
Mm.
enroll, and sometimes I would be like the only person doing it. But it was fun, and he would often tell me that it doesn't matter, like just go,
Yeah,
just go try it out, and it's not always that you are going there to win.
yeah.
And it happens that sometimes you're the only person, so you win. So
But Shilpa, how about the education system? So a very nurturing home is important. It is also very equally important to have a very nurturing, empathetic education system around you. What is your take on that? The time when you were there in the schooling phase, and the time where we are sitting today, how do you think the education system has evolved? It has changed. Has it become more inclusive, empathetic towards uh, kids who have these, special strengths with them?
Absolutely. So I would say there is both advantage and disadvantage. So when I was growing up, there was not so much of awareness that different kids might require different kind of attention. Towards today, where I feel yes, there is very well awareness, and people are actually taking tests and diagnosing it. But sometimes I feel that the diagnosis also comes with its boon and the bane, I would say.
Mhm.
Because the boon is less, yes, there are specific interventions which are done. The bane kind of comes from the social, the way things are perceived. So typically you might like if you label something, you are saying that has like 10 characteristics. There might be like 4 characteristics that you might be showing, and 5 might be strengths. But then since you're saying
Mm.
that all 10 are weaknesses, then you kind of get biased towards it. I mean, there are studies which have shown that if you take the same intellectual capacity students, and then you give them to different teachers, and the teacher, in fact the same teacher, and you have told that this set of students are low performing and this are high performing, because
Mm.
of the biases which are there,
Yeah.
the students will start uh, you know performing, because you have that, you approach it in certain way. So I would say that yes, there are advantages, because that there are specific techniques that needs to be applied. But at the same time, labeling a lot of things also creates this
Mm.
this bias, which might
Mm.
always be helpful. So I would say it's a combination.
True. And then, so I have also seen a lot of fighter instinct in you. While experimentation shows, see, fighters love to experiment as well, right? They are very curious. They want to succeed. They want to make things happen. They want to keep trying out new things. And with this, you have tried out many things. You are amazing in your technological skills. You read a lot. You also went for the beauty pageant. Wow. How did that happen, and what made you say that chalo ye karte hain, let's do this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even I wouldn't have dreamt about it. I mean, it was not something which like something which I had dreamt from childhood, like, oh, one day I want to become a beauty pageant, or like I even participate in a beauty pageant. But it happened when we moved to a new place, and there was this beautiful lake which was right close to our house. And we with our dogs used to kind of go and walk there, and we found that the lake was completely dried up. It's like a 500-acre lake, and completely dried up, and it feels sad, like why it's like nothing is being done. And then we tried to talk to it, to the local authorities and others. And somewhere in the journey, if you feel that you need a voice, and you need a voice which
Mm.
would be heard. And at that point in time, I had seen like beauty pageants have voices, and I was like, okay, let's try
You
this
did that
out.
for the lake? You
Yeah.
did that for the lake? Okay. Wonderful. Oh my God. Look at the fighter in you. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, wow. And that motivated you to like, hey, you know what? Let me be the winner, and then let me speak about the lake. Let's fill that lake with water.
Yeah, something like that. And I had no clue like what it takes to become to even participate in a beauty pageant. And I didn't look like, there are people who like just look like a beauty pageant. I was like nowhere very close. Like I was like overweight to obese to even go there. And then I didn't like the grooming, and there is a lot of things which goes into a beauty pageant. So I'm
You are
just
beautiful, and we'll be showing your pictures, and then people will be saying that no, what, you are beautiful. You just keep keeping yourself grounded. But yeah, your picture says a lot.
so it was a fun journey. So I just showed up to the audition and I told them, like, they were showing a lot of before and after stories. I said, like, I'm going to be your before and after story, so just let me in.
Wow,
So
wow,
it was fun.
wow. So you participated in that, and you won.
Yeah, so I won the sponsor title. It was like not the winning of the title, it was like the sponsors title. So yeah.
Okay, great, great. So now tell me about um, see the next generation, which is now coming into the workforce. Kids are very young, very tender mind. When I say kids, I mean for me, because I graduated long time back. Those people who are graduating now, I feel that they are just entering into their professional journeys. When I graduated, social media was kind of getting there, but was not impacting our lives. But today, social media is everywhere. I mean, it's into you right now. People are attending live events with live social media feeds, which never used to happen. I mean, we are more virtually available than physically, right? So it's a different generation altogether. It psychologically plays a lot in the mind. It has its pros and cons as well. So, what is your take in this? Because since you are somebody who has seen a lot of things, done a lot of stuff for yourself, and inspired many people around you, what is your take in the next generation? What should they be looking at from a personality level? How should they come from campus to corporate? What should they expect to happen?
Sure, that's very interesting, and in fact, I've also been thinking a lot about this. And like as you said, right, like and you're also doing a lot of things in this area, because I feel that this is something which is very close, because to the heart, right? Like, because this is something that you want the next generation to be groomed, to be successful, to be healthy, both like physically and mentally. So one of the things which I feel is super important to start with is the ability to learn.
Hmm.
And ability to learn in the sense that learn and stick with it, where it actually becomes a part of you. What happens with a shorter attention span, many times you're kind of shifting from one place to another place, to another thing, to another thing, to another thing,
Hmm.
which many times does not allow you to take the time which is required for you to actually assimilate and make sense out of it. And then it becomes just information overload, and then you are like just remains like sorting through the things and navigating through things, rather than just assimilating and taking action more meaningfully. And a lot of this, what we've been studying also, is lot of this is to goes back to some of the emotional states.
Hmm.
And the ability for you to have that choice of emotional states, to be in a mode where you're learning, assimilating, and focusing, rather than just getting all the information but your mind is elsewhere. So I
Hmm.
think that's a very, very extremely important capability, which young, not just youngsters, but everybody requires in this age. Because I feel social media has not just impacted Gen Z; it has impacted everybody. Because my
Yeah.
my father, who's like 78, he's also like completely on social media the whole day. And
Yeah. My parents are influencers. They are YouTubers, um, with millions of subscribers. And they are retired from what they were doing earlier. So cool. I mean, yes, it is impacting so many people. So
yes,
it's interesting. But
absolutely.
yeah, the minds which are tender, wherein we are younger, your mind is more tender. You get influenced very fast. So it does it is extremely important for the corporates also to be having that right nurturing. So when the manager, so your ecosystem around you, how do you think in your company, or if so your setup, right, how are you making your environment inclusive for the next generation to blossom with their right strengths and capabilities?
Sure. So, as I said, that emotional states are very important, and it is important to also help them with strategies in which they can manage some of these emotional states. And a lot of this also comes from where you are headed and where you want to go in life, right? So, if you kind of boil that down to certain things, right? Like for example, how do you manage things which when they are thrown at you? So do you get life happens to everybody. So so how your ability to manage that and not get uh, you know just disoriented because of that is a,
Mm,
is a capability, and all of this is essentially comes back to managing your emotional states. And there are
mm,
ways in which you can manage your emotional states, and some of this, even there are technologies which can help you to do that. So
mm,
I would say that's primary to kind of understand that. The
mm,
second piece is also sharing a lot of stories, because stories are something which you connect with. You understand that this is how it is done, rather than giving them instructions saying that okay, these are the five things to be done, and obviously explaining it. But sometimes it may or may not go. So looking at what are some of the things which are coming in their way, what are some of their beliefs sometimes are coming in their way, and helping them to look at ways in which they could overcome some of those.
yeah.
I think that's very powerful when you look at anybody for that matter in the team. In fact, just like a team meeting, and you could share some of the task or whatever you're talking about in the team, or whatever you're sharing about in the team. That itself can act a way in which you could shift certain things in them,
Mm,
where they go back and like realize, oh yeah, oh this is like, yeah, this makes
yeah.
sense. So yeah.
You are also a I read a lot about your passion towards artificial intelligence technology, and you're driving many initiatives, and even in your experience in corporates, you have driven many AI-driven projects, technology automations. Um, let's look at this from the perspective of the medical sciences, right? When we speak about OCDs and special strengths in kids, how do you think the artificial intelligence technologies can actually support the the generations and these people to ensure that um, they are nurtured well, they're understood well, their personalized strengths get identified rather than figuring out. There is a proper method through which things can work. So if you can enlighten me on what are, because your research will be much stronger in this because you would have read a lot about this. So enlighten me on what is the current trend in the medical sciences going on where artificial intelligence is bringing in more futuristic methods in helping the OCDs in the younger kids.
Sure. So I would say it is like an entire spectrum, right? Because a lot of this today is not something which is completely discovered. We don't understand our brain, or we don't understand like even a portion of how the entire system of human kind of works. There are research which is happening now, where they are able to create these organoids, which are like brains in a petri dish. Uh,
Wow.
where you could then simulate like how would a brain react to certain medications and others. So there are researches in from that extreme to even there are things which are happening from a scanning technology perspective, where you have different types of scanners which are coming, and then you apply AI on top of it to identify like smaller nuances. So right from the MRI to functional MRI, which is kind of understands the the flow and the vascularity and like a lot of others. And there are different like looking at the electric signals of the brains, and there are different other both as therapies and diagnostics which are available. Now, a lot
Mm.
of these are things which maybe mainstream might not have adopted yet, because there
Mm.
is there is a lot of gap between research and mainstream, because it has to go through different cycles, and it has to be approved, it has to be evidence based and others. But there is a lot of interesting research which is happening. One, from just understanding the condition, because today people don't really understand the condition, because it's in the brain. It's not something which you can see. It's not like a skin patch that you can see
Yeah.
and correct. So it's behavior which is so much under the surface that there is you don't know what's happening. And it is just now that you have technology to even understand that these are brain signals. Maybe these are the ones which could be possibly driving that behavior.
Mm.
What AI is helping in these spaces is it is helping to one, create a lot of possibilities
Mhm.
within, like more options, and then curating from those options to kind of separate it out. And then you could, instead of doing like millions of experiments, now you could kind of boil it down to a couple of hundreds and others, where you could actually then see it down.
Yeah.
And you could model certain things based on the data which is available. You could also generate some of the data which is available. So a lot of things are happening just from the understanding space. Then there
Mm.
are other things which are happening from the diagnostic space, saying that you're identifying this. Now, the traditional way of diagnostics could be different, and every country, every culture, there are different nuances that you would adopt to identifying a lot of these things. A lot of these tests today which are available are very subjective. So
Mm.
how do you kind of identify those nuances,
Mm.
even when there is subjective? Because when it is subjective, it requires an eye which is like really trained. And maybe the trained professionals are very scarce.
Mm.
So
Mm.
how can you then apply AI to compensate for some of the things, right? Because AI can see better, it can understand your micro expressions better, it can
Mm.
read some of the vitals better. So
Mm.
can that compensate for some of the things which might be missed by
Mm.
an eye, which is not an expert eye? So again, we see AI working in that area. And
Mm.
the third area is on the cure itself, where again you're looking at different types of medications, and again AI is helping in drug discovery, looking at when it is applied, does it go to the targeted area or not? So how do you
Mm.
kind of identify that? And then there are things on the prevention, where you're looking at can digital therapeutics, like doing things digitally, can that also have an impact? Because this is an area which is so diverse, right? Because if social media can have impact, right,
Mm.
on the bad side, it could also have on the good side. So
Yeah.
there is that possibility also to be explored. So I would say the possibilities are endless, and
Mm.
it's an exciting time to be in.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. An exciting time for new innovations, exciting time for uh, new procedures and finding cures. And I'm pretty sure startups and thought leaders like you can impact a lot of um the next generation in thinking these things out loud and uh, coming to a state where whatever is there in laboratories can actually be becoming cured and coming to the general public and becoming more affordable to make it happen for everyone, right? If you were to have three I would say three word of thoughts for the next generation entering into the workforce, what would these three thoughts be so that they can be prepared, they can be ready to enter the workspaces?
So I would say focus, belief, and action.
Hmm. Okay. Very deep, very deep, and it covers a lot of areas. Let's get into it. So let's get into focus.
Yeah, focus, because focus is key in every aspect of life, right? Any aspect that you take, it's super key, and it is very difficult to be focused, especially when you have so many distractions which are around you.
Mhm.
Once you have focus, because a lot of it is I would say focus is at a level where a lot of other things have to be sorted for you to be focused.
Yeah.
So it's a capability which it kind of it's at a higher level. Just like if you if you focus on space exploration,
Mhm.
uh, a lot of communication technology gets elevated, right? So
Right.
similarly, focus is that, because like a lot of things in your life get sorted when you have focus, because you're not distracted, nothing bothers you, you're not looking at what others will think. So a lot of those things get sorted for you. So getting into focus. Second is belief, because belief is what kind of pushes you forward.
Yeah.
And you because it's a feeling, you know it, and when you just know it, it you tend to kind of go in that direction.
Mm.
And then if you have focus, you have belief, you have to take actions too. So
Right.
I would say that that kind of completes the circle.
And if I look at your journey, right, you have implemented all three of them, right? I mean, you have overcome many things and you have ensured that you have focused on what you really wanted and you believed in you can do it. That fighter attitude of yours is so contagious, right? So that belief was always there. And you actually did things. I mean, you're entering into the beauty pageant itself for a purpose of a natural body getting dried up, right? How to revive that again and make yourself heard properly was very, very critical. So how you did this is amazing. So your focus, your belief, and your actions, you have nurtured them all, you have completed them all, you have imbibed them all in your life, and I'm pretty sure these three learnings will be very important for everybody who's listening to this podcast today. So with that, I'm so happy, Shilpa, that you could make time from your such busy schedule and come over and speak to us about this. I'm pretty sure there are so many people who will be inspired more. And I request others to go follow you on LinkedIn and read a lot of sciencey things that you're talking about. And thank you so much, Shilpa, for coming over once again.
Thank you so much for having me, and really looking forward to being in touch. And
Great. Thanks, Shilpa.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing episode it was. Thank you all for watching this episode of Road Ahead Talk Show. I'm pretty sure you are all very inspired by Shilpa. Shilpa has done wonderful in her career, even with a lot of challenges which she has faced. I'm pretty sure you would have learned a lot of things from Shilpa. If you have liked this episode, please make sure that you subscribe to us and you keep watching a lot of episodes. I will be making sure that I get amazing speakers on the show for you who are thought leaders, who are change makers in the society, so that you can be inspired and kept inspired. Thank you so much.